So our topic today is immigration. So immigrant refers to someone who chooses to cross national borders and to move to a destination country which they do not belong to originally. Okay, so an immigrant, a person who immigrates into another country. Okay, so it means a person who crosses the national border. A national border, the boundary between two nations. It can be a river, a lake, a mountain. It can actually be anything. So if you cross the national border, that means you step into a foreign country, right? Yeah. And then you move there to your destination country. Okay. So the destination is a place you are going to. Like you want to visit Paris, so the destination of your trip would be Paris, okay? And then this destination country, you don't really belong to originally. So it's not your original country, it's not your home country, it's a new country. So why? They do this in order to reside there permanently or to work there temporarily as a foreign worker, okay? So the reason they immigrate into another country, okay, they might want to reside, to live there, okay, permanently, forever, okay? So let's take the USA, for example. Many people want to get the green card, okay? So if you have a green card, that actually means you are a permanent resident. So that means equivalent to like you are an American citizen. Some people may not want to live there forever, so just temporarily. So temporarily is the opposite word for permanently, right? So for some time, they may choose to work there as a foreign worker. So they just get the work visa without applying for a green card, say. So they might work there, choose to work there, because they may get higher salary, right? And then once they think they have earned enough money, they may want to go back to their home country. So the statistics for 2015 show that the number of immigrants worldwide has reached nearly 244 million, okay? So the statistics, that's a kind of science. They usually collect the number for analysis, right? Okay, so the number for 2015, that worldwide, all over the world, okay, there are 244 million people that actually work, live, or study in other countries. So this is an incredibly amazing number. So many people, okay, actually do that. 1/3 of these immigrants are living in only 20 countries, but there are more than 200 countries in the world, right? However, there might be, so 1/3 of 20, so like 60 countries that people would like to immigrate. And then I think they are like top 20s, okay, are very, very popular. So far as I know, people from here in Taiwan, okay, what I know, they immigrate to mostly to the USA, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, okay, so mainly the English-speaking countries. And then why do they want to immigrate there? Basically, most of them say, oh, it's for the education for their children. Okay, they believe that their children can receive better education there. And some say, oh, because of the nicer environments there, maybe a bigger land, and maybe not so crowded, and then maybe cleaner air without air pollution, maybe. Yeah. So the United States has taken in the largest number of international migrants. Its cultural integration is often described as the melting pot, which vividly provides a mental picture for the whole immigration situation. And among the 20 hottest countries, destination countries for immigrants, and the USA has taken in the largest number of immigrants. Okay, so when we talk about the USA, there's a very famous term. We call it as the melting pot. Melting pot. So when you think of this in your mind, when you picture this in your mind, it's very clear. So it's vividly provides a very clear mental picture. So you can imagine that a pot, okay, when you want to fuse different kinds of metals, right, you need to heat, okay, or boil, okay, the different metals until they all melt, and you can fuse different metals into one, okay. So this kind of integration, this kind of mixture of different people from different cultural backgrounds, right? Yeah. So you can also see the image, okay, of pictures like the immigrants carrying their luggage, holding their children, heading to the star and the stripes, the American national flag. So USA, okay, is a top one, I guess. So that clearly describes this kind of situation in the USA. So this kind of metaphor implies a melting of cultures in terms of different ethnic groups. Okay, so this term, okay, is the metaphor is like a comparison, and then it implies that people mixed together, the mixture, the melting of all different cultures, right, into one. Okay, so people from different ethnic groups, from Asia, from Spanish-speaking countries, from Africa, okay, they kind of like contribute one part of the U.S. culture. And European immigration plays an important role in the United States melting pot. Okay, we know that in the first group of white settlers, they actually came from England, and they came in search of the promised land, okay, promised in the Bible. So they came basically for religious freedom. And then European immigration to the United States became increasingly diverse in the late 19th and the early 20th centuries. Okay, so unlike in the first stage in the 18th century, okay, almost all the immigrants actually came from England. But later on, okay, the immigration groups, okay, became increasingly diverse. So there are people from different parts of Europe other than England, okay, in the late 19th, early 20th centuries. Many Southern and Eastern European immigrants arrived to the New World, okay, so people from East Europe and Southern Europe, okay, immigrated, okay, and then arrived to the New World, okay. So of course, we know like Columbus discovered the New World. America is a New World. So from the old world, of course, refers to Europe. And although some later returned to their native countries, others remained in their adoptive home and eventually merged into the cultural melting pot by embracing the American way of life. Okay, so some might came, and then for some reason they decided to go back to their home country. Maybe after they've earned enough money, they still prefer to live in their familiar place, or maybe they just came to study after they finish their school, or for some reason maybe they didn't really adapt well in a new place, or maybe their home country, the situation became better so they decided to move back. Okay, so some did move back, however, others chose to stay. Okay, so some other people remained in their adopted home. Okay, if you want to have a child, but for some reason you can't have a child of your own, you may want to adopt a child, right? Okay, and then so eventually these people who stayed, okay, they merged into the big cultural melting pots of the USA. Okay, so the word to merge is like to combine, right? So some companies that might merge, so two companies became one, and then some universities actually, like 2-3 universities merged into one university. Yeah. So and then the state, they merged into the melting pots by embracing the American way of life. Okay, so you embrace someone. Okay, so kind of you welcome and you fully accept the American culture, American way of living. Immigration occurs due to various reasons. Okay, and of course people came for different reasons. When we talk about due to, it means because of, but it usually refers to something negative actually. Yeah, like the picnic was cancelled due to the storm, right? First, economic considerations are one of the most important. For example, starting from the 19th century, the rapid economic growth of the U.S. intensified several immigrant waves. Okay, so unlike I just mentioned previously, the first group of settlers from England that came mainly because of religion, the Puritans, and then later on, people from mainly like East and South Europe, okay, they came, they kind of cherish the term, the American dream, okay. So American dream refers to a better chance, okay, a better chance maybe to get rich, okay. So economic reason is a very important one, a very major reason for so many immigrants. Okay, so not just 1-2 cases, it's actually a wave. Okay, so it's kind of like a trend. Many people came, okay, in order to get rich. Even people from Asia, right? They came to say California, okay, to work. Maybe they would help build the railway. And then second, natural disasters amplify poverty-driven migration flows. Okay, and also another reason is if a natural disaster happen, like an earthquake, like a volcanic eruption. So this country, they were kind of poor. Poverty is a noun, right? The noun form for poor. And then the people, they also wanted to find a new chance. Okay, if they arrive in the USA, okay, they might they might improve their lives, right? Especially financially. Okay, so this also to amplify means to enlarge. Okay, so economic reason that intensify. Okay, so to intensify means you have like a bigger motivation to strengthen people's motivation to come to the USA. And then third, political situation could motivate people to emigrate in order to escape a civil war or dictatorship. Okay, so the third reason, like in some countries, the political situations weren't stable. Okay, so that's another reason that people want to go leave their own home country. Okay, to search for something to escape. Maybe there was a civil war, the war fought within the same country, to avoid that, and also for avoid the government system called a dictatorship. A dictator is someone, the ruler who basically decides for the country. Okay, so it's non-democracy. So all the way after the Second World War, right? Yeah, all the way from East Germany, okay, East Europe turned out to be an iron curtain, so communism. And not just communism, even in the South, right? South Europe, like Italy, there's fascism. So people want to move to a freer country, a democratic country. They might choose to cross the border, right? And then the fourth reason, some immigrate or emigrate because of personal reasons. For example, one might want to live with his or her foreign partner or spouse. Okay, so for personal reason, someone, maybe you fall in love with a person with different nationalities. Okay, so if you want to stay together, okay, so you have to choose one country. Okay, so the two verbs to emigrate and to immigrate. So start with im or in means inside. Okay, so you move into. To immigrate, you move inside. And to emigrate, e or ex, it means out. So you move out of your country. So if the couple, okay, wants to get married, maybe, okay, so have to choose between the two different countries. One will have to move out and move into the new country, right? The future spouse home country, maybe. Yeah. When leaving their home country, immigrants leave everything familiar behind: their original jobs, family, friends, culture, and support network. Okay, so I think it's kind of difficult, right, to make the decision. It's very important. Yeah. So if they leave their home country, they actually leave familiar things behind them. Okay, we usually feel at ease with our own country, right? We know how things function. We know how to react properly, actually, right? Yeah. So, and then even if when we are in need of help, okay, you know where to get the support, right? You have the support network like that. However, when they arrive in a new country, they experience many kinds of uncertainties. Okay, you go to a new country, everything is not just unfamiliar. Okay, you actually feel so uncertain. You are not sure what to do. Okay, how things function. Yeah. So you have no idea. So uncertain. So uncertain. So such as finding a job. So as I said, it actually takes a courage. It takes determination to decide to immigrate into a new environment, right? And then you are not so secure. You are not certain that you can get a good job like that, and you need to adjust to new cultural norms. Okay, norms means the standards. Okay, as we know the term, right? It's a very familiar term, the cultural shock. When you arrive in a new country, okay, you experience different stages of cultural shock until finally you are so well adjusted in. Yeah, you know exactly how. Yeah. And then possible discrimination against foreign-born and minority population in every aspect of life. As a foreigner, when you go out, okay, or maybe at a workplace, or when you go shopping, maybe you don't receive proper respect. Okay, there is some kind of discrimination against. People look down upon you, or you are from a poor country, you are not well educated. Okay, people think so. Okay, and then you belong to the minority ethnic group. Okay, so minor is the opposite of major. Okay, so minority group, ethnic group, like maybe of this big country, and then people from Asia or people from Taiwan maybe only takes about 5% of the whole population. So you are in a minority population. Okay, so it's kind of difficult, right? You have to endure this kind of disrespect. Yeah. However, for both receiving and sending countries, migration can draw positive implications. Okay, so we just talk about something negative. Okay, you need to readjust. Okay, to different norms, and then maybe you need to endure unfair treatment, discrimination against you. However, there is something positive for both countries. For countries that receive, okay, that take in foreigners, okay, or sending people who leave their home country to live in a new country, okay. There are some positive conclusion implications here, okay. So speaking of the word migration, okay, some animals are very famous for the migration, right? Okay, so it's like a move, okay, a long way. Birds, of course, they take long flights, right? So in summer, they fly to a colder area, fly to the north, and in winter, they fly to the south, okay? So they have this kind of migration. And also, you may want to feel the amazing animal migration in Africa. So you have to visit Africa in summertime. You go to areas near Kenya. Okay, you can see huge herds of animals moving. Okay, so the big migration. Okay, so we talk about some positive aspects. Okay, so for example, many developed countries have actively recruited skilled health workers from developing countries. Now, the terms, okay, we call this country as a developed country, and the other one, a developing country. Usually, a developed country is more advanced, okay, and basically the society can be an industrial one, right? And then a developing country, of course, is less advanced. Okay, so some advanced countries that actually welcome, okay, workers, especially to work in the health care sector. So they want more. They want to recruit more workers to work in the hospitals or the nursing homes. Okay, so the verb to recruit. Okay, like the army. Okay, they welcome, they encourage young people to join the army. So they want to recruit more people to join the force. Okay, maybe Air Force, the Army, the Navy. Okay, and then so some developed countries, they actually actively, not passively. Okay, they want to recruit more skilled workers in the field of medical care. And then migrating to developed countries brings opportunities of better education and social welfare to health workers from developing countries. And then on the other side, people from the developing countries, they choose to work in a developed country because if they bring their children with them, right? They can the children have much better chance to receive good education, going to university. They can also enjoy better benefits, the welfare, social welfare. Okay, so some benefits, vacation, and also after they retire, maybe the pension, right? So they get some kind of advantages as well, for sure. Yeah. And meanwhile, and at the same time, the receiving countries get some relief from a shortage of labor in the healthcare sector. Okay, so the receiving countries, okay, they welcome the workers, okay, to give them some relief, give the workers some break time, because there's a shortage, a lack of not enough workers to work in the hospitals. Like right now in Taiwan, because of a sudden outbreak of more confirmed cases of COVID-19. So the nurses are kind of like overburdened. Okay, So if we can recruit more volunteer workers, retired nurses to help, to give them a hand, that give them some kind of break, some kind of relief, right? Okay, so we're speaking of different reasons that people immigrate to other countries, okay? And then from the, if you take USA, for example, from the very first 18th century, the first settlers from England, okay? And then also, and later on, people cherish the American dream, okay? So for financial, economic reason, okay? So you can see the image in the late 19th century, early 20th century, Europeans, okay, boarded on the ship, okay, and then they want to cross the Atlantic Ocean, okay, to arrive to the USA for better chance, better opportunities to improve their lives. And then more recently, we know a lot of people from Syria, okay, they are refugees, okay, they also immigrated to other countries, okay, because of the war and because of very cruel treatment of the government. So the situation living in their own country is kind of like unbearable, it's miserable. So they are refugees, okay, so they are forced to leave their own country. So some people, because of like some activists, they would voice, okay, for the people, but then the government may allow them, so they want to arrest them in prison. So they would choose to be a refugee. So they would leave their own country and then seeking for some shelter. For some governments may take, some democratic countries may take him in and give them protection, shelter. And then the Syrian refugees, they took risks, okay. They try to escape their country, and then they enter a country actually illegally, but with a hope that the country might sympathize them and then might allow them to stay there. So there's another chance for them. So we know like Germany has taken in millions of Syrian refugees, right? Okay, so yeah, these are some reasons, some main reasons why people do immigrate to other countries. Okay, but then my question, okay, why do people immigrate to other countries? Okay, so could you leave your message, please? Yeah, thank you for watching.